Well, boys, now in this video we will try to find the principal value of few inverses and the technique to find the principal value. Let us take few examples that find the principal value of, say, the first example, cos inverse minus half, cosec inverse minus root 2, cot inverse 1 by root 3, tan inverse minus root 3, sec inverse minus 2 by root 3, sine inverse root 3 by 2. So we have taken here 6 problems for finding the principal value of these inverses. Now let us see the technique for finding the inverse, the principal value of the inverse. You know, in several books, you will find several methods for finding the principal value of the inverse. Here, we will discuss a tricky method which will simplify your calculation and you will get your result very quickly. Remember, for finding the principal value of any inverse, if the value in front of any inverse is positive, your answer should be in the first quadrant. You know, an inverse is an angle, so that angle you have to calculate in first quadrant if the quantity in front of any inverse is positive. For example, you can see the problem number 3 and problem number 6. Here in problem number 3, we have cot inverse 1 by root 3. This 1 by root 3 is positive. So the principal value of this positive inverse should lie between 0 to 90. And we have to adjust here. Now, whenever there is negative value in front of any inverse, we will have to find their principal value in second quadrant as well as in fourth quadrant. This one is fourth quadrant. So in second or in fourth quadrant, we will adjust the negative values and leave this quadrant. At your level, you should leave this quadrant for finding the principal value. Now you see here in second quadrant, whenever cos inverse negative or sec inverse negative or cot inverse negative exists, we will adjust the principal value in second quadrant and our adjustment rule is pi minus theta. In first quadrant, our adjustment rule is theta, the angle, direct angle, and here pi minus theta. If negative exists in front of these inverses. Similarly, if negative exists in front of sine inverse, tan inverse or cosec inverse, you should adjust it in fourth quadrant and the adjustment rule is minus theta. This rule, minus theta. Now leave this quadrant alone. One thing also you must note that the principal value of any inverse should not be more than 180. It should always be lesser equal to 180. Now, this is the technique with which we will try to find out the inverse of the principal value of any inverse. Now, let us start finding. The first problem is cos inverse minus half. You see, cos inverse minus half. Now, half is the value of cos 60 degree. You know it. Cos 60 degree, we can write it as cos pi by 3. So cos inverse minus cos pi by 3. Now let us take here this sign minus. This minus sign indicates that we have to adjust this cos inverse in second quadrant. Now here the value of theta is pi by 3. So in the next step we should write cos inverse cos and the adjustment will be pi minus pi by 3. One thing you may note here that cos pi minus pi by 3, pi means 180 degree, it is 2 into 90 minus pi by 3. So 2 into 90 means there will be no change, and 2 into 90 minus, it must lie in second quadrant, so value should be negative. So this whole expression can be written in this form. So that's why we adopt this adjustment of pi minus theta. So it becomes cos pi minus pi by 3, and the final answer will be cos inverse cos. You know it by formula. This disappears and the final answer will be pi minus pi by 3, that is 2 pi by 3. So the principal value of cos inverse minus half is 2 pi by 3 as per this adjustment. Now again, take the next one. Cosec inverse minus root 2. You know, root 2 is the value of 45 degree. So it is pi by 4. So cosec inverse minus cosec pi by 4. Now this minus should be adjusted in fourth quadrant as per rule. So we will have cosec inverse cosec minus pi by 4. And finally you will get minus pi by 4 is the principal value. Again, cot inverse 1 by root 3. It is positive, so it should be adjusted in first quadrant. So cot inverse cot 60 degree. The value of cot 60 is 1 by root 3. So cot inverse cot pi by 3 and the principal value will be pi by 3. Similarly, tan inverse minus root 3. So tan inverse tan minus pi by 3. It is directly adjusted here. So minus pi by 3. I think you are able to understand why we have taken directly this value. Similarly, now you are able to skip the several steps while solving the principal value. Let us take the next one. Sec inverse minus 2 by root 3. So 2 by root 3 is the value of sec 30 degree. So it becomes sec inverse minus sec pi by 6. Finally, you will get sec inverse sec. It should be adjusted in second quadrant because it is minus in front of sec inverse. So it becomes sec pi minus pi by 6. So final answer will be pi minus pi by 6, and therefore it is 5 pi by 6. Similarly, you can find easily sine inverse root 3 by 2 as pi by 3. Do at home. Now, one more thing is very, very important here. That sometimes you will get the value like this to find the principal value of sine inverse sine 600 degree. Now sine inverse sine 600 degree, you know, the formula is whenever you will get sine inverse sine x, it becomes x. So you can write this as 600 degree, but this 600 degree is more than 180. So this should not be the principal value. So for finding the principal value of this inverse, we have to first find the value of sine 600 degree. So how to get the value of sine 600 degree? We should write sine inverse sine 6 into 90 plus 60. Now 6 into 90 plus 60, this becomes 600 degree. 6 into 90 plus 60, it lies in third quadrant. You see here, 6 into 90 plus 60, it lies in third quadrant, so it should be negative and there will be no change. So the final result will be sine inverse minus sine 60 degree. Now this minus sine 60 degree, in front of sine inverse we have negative sign, so it should be adjusted in fourth quadrant. So the value will be sine inverse sine minus pi by 3, because 60 degree we can write pi by 3, and your answer will be minus pi by 3. Now this value must lie between minus pi to pi, and that is your principal value. Again, you can take one more example, that is cos inverse cos 7 pi by 6. If you observe this value 7 pi by 6, the value is 210 degree. It is more than 180 degree. And if it is more than 180 degree, we have to reduce this value in less than 180 form. So for that, we will try to find out the value of this cos 2 into 90 plus 30. Now it becomes cos inverse minus cos 30 as per the rule of associated angles, and then cos inverse cos, it should be adjusted in the second quadrant. It becomes pi minus pi by 6, and the final answer will be 5 pi by 6. So now I think, boys, you are able to find the principal value of any inverse.